My friend married early, had children quickly. She was lucky to have twins, a boy and a girl. She stayed at home, took care of the children. Her husband earned enough money and she was happy. Until one day she went to a meeting of classmates. It turned out that all her friends at university make a career, and having a family does not hinder them in this. She thought about it and realized that while she had been sitting at home, she had degraded and forgotten her professional skills, and by education she was a marketing specialist. Her husband dissuaded her from going to work, saying that she was needed at home, needed the children, but she no longer wanted to spend all her days in the kitchen, cooking cereal, doing laundry, cleaning, creating comfort. She wanted to do her makeup in the morning, brush her hair, put on heels, and go to work. She wanted to talk not only about childhood problems with her flatmates. The job search lasted long. Her husband had already calmed down. He decided that she would not find a job. Her friend also got cold feet. Her self-esteem began to fall, and she began to come to the conclusion that the whole purpose of her life to take care of her husband and children. But unexpectedly, she received a reply to her resume and an invitation to an interview. Out of happiness and pride, my friend was walking from the interview. She was hired. My husband happily took this news, or pretended to. In fact, he thought that the probationary period she would not make it. But a year passed, and my friend was still working. Yes, there was a loss in her household. Not so often there were tasty dishes on the table. The apartment did not sparkle cleanly, but the family budget increased. They were able to start saving money to buy apartments for children. You think the story has a happy ending? No, it's not, although for someone such an ending would seem happy. A friend's workplace hired a new HR director, a middle-aged man, closer to young. The man was single, amorous, and charmed my girlfriend so that after 3 months of acquaintance, they started an affair. My friend was very happy. She had children she adored at home, a protective wall. Her husband, and at work, interesting projects, lots of compliments and sex. It seemed to her that she was in a perfect position and no one would ever know about her infidelity. Her happiness lasted for a year. One evening when she came home from work, she found the apartment empty. There were no children or husband, and it was cold and very, very empty. There were children's toys and clothes lying around. She opened the closet, it was empty, and the second closet was empty too. She suddenly felt as if she were sitting in a cold, cold bath. With a sinking heart, she went to the kitchen. In the kitchen there was a stack of freshly baked pancakes. Her husband had a hobby of baking pancakes, and a note, "You'd better cook." And next to the note was a photo of her and her lover. The next story you will hear will be, what should you do if your wife leaves you for another man? Find out how one man dealt with a situation involving his wife's infidelity. It's hard to work with people, but working with people, you see so many destinies from the outside. Sometimes the twists and turns that happen in reality are much more confusing than in soap operas. Here's a story I heard. I divorced my wife a year and a half ago. We lived together for 3 years before that and had a wonderful little girl. Everything seemed to be fine, at least not worse than others. We did not know any special needs. Once a year we went on vacation. We almost never quarreled with my wife, in a word, almost a model family. But apparently, somewhere I did not see it through, my wife left me for a lover. I went through the divorce hard. To forget about it, I went to work. But half a year after the divorce, I found all the answers in the family computer in the browser history and everything cleared up. My ex-wife on one of the women's forums described her situation and asked for advice. Quote, "Girls, help me figure this out. I am married. My husband is good, not drinking. A family man, crazy about our daughter. Gives me gifts and sex we have quite good. But I feel like something is wrong. It's not the life I wanted to live. It's so monotonous. And then not long ago, my life has changed abruptly, played with colors. One of the heads of the firm where I work came to our small town from the head office in Moscow. It turned out that he was a former classmate of mine. I didn't recognize him right away, but he did. Right after the meeting, he came over. He was a puny, unassuming, gray-haired nerd at school. He was in love with me, made some attempts to woo me, but always got a stiff rejection. I often laughed at him in public. And now he got rich, pumped up his muscles, and became so confident and bossy, in a word, a man, a dream. He said he recognized me immediately, that he often remembered me all these years. He invited me to a restaurant in the evening. I couldn't resist and agreed. At the restaurant, he said he loved me too, and took my old photo out of my wallet. And then my heart melted. I fell in love like a girl. The next day, I find out that I have to go on a business trip to Europe. And guess who with? Of course, with my boss, a former classmate. It was just the two of us. Of course, it wasn't any kind of business trip. We stayed in a fancy hotel, walked around town during the day, and fucked like teenagers all night long. I knew I was missing out, but I couldn't help myself. When I returned to my husband, I felt very sorry for him and ashamed in front of him. He was a very good man, but I did not want to live my old life again. Then these business trips were almost a couple of times a month. And now, after half a year, my new man said he wanted to take me to Moscow, that I have to make a choice. Can you tell me what to do? My head is spinning. I pity to ruin the family and hurt my husband, but I do not want to miss the chance. I was just in shock. That's the kind of woman I'd been sharing a bed with all these years. In short, we separated. Of course, she took her daughter with her. Another 6 months passed, and suddenly she started calling me and writing. She said that her boyfriend had been holding a grudge against her since high school, and he saw her in his company. He systematically destroyed our family. My wife didn't work in Moscow. He used to come and bring money, and over time he started showing up less and less often. And now he throws his wife and daughter out of the house, and she has no friends there, no place to live, no job. My wife calls me, crying crocodile tears, saying that she made the worst mistake of her life. She is pressing a painful issue. She says that her daughter misses me, wants to come home to me. My wife begs me to forgive her and let her back in. I am shocked, of course. I do not want to see this woman, although somewhere far away I still have feelings for her. But my daughter is not guilty of anything. How should I do now? I do not know. You hear stories like this, and it's amazing what people are like. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you like it. Also put a bell so you don't miss new videos. See you soon.